Despite huge spike on non-farm employment change data, which is almost double than the forecast, DXY has a dump. Now, if you look at the lower time frame, so in this weekly forex forecast, we will try to find out the answer why the move on DXY is contradicting with the data release. And at the same time, as you can see, there is another week coming up, second week of the month. Let's see what kind of movement we can expect in the upcoming week. In this upcoming week as well, the market is highly volatile. Quite a few high impact news coming. This week is full for USD, GBP and gold. So let's begin one by one. Let's see what kind of trading opportunity this week we will have. So the list is not that longer, as you can see, but I will still put a timestamp in the description area. But I'll suggest you to watch all of them. As you have seen in our previous weekly forex forecast, most of the pairs did exactly according to the analysis. Now let's begin this week's weekly forex forecast, starting with the DXY. Okay traders, so let's begin first of all what's happening with the DXY. And now as you can see, past week NFP has been released, a big event has done. Now with that NFP, what have we seen? That non-farm employment change was a big spike, almost double than the forecast, but still DXY had a downside in the last day of the trading week as well. Why this happened? Now if you look at the overall data, what I think the trader got confused with the data, because it's a completely unusual to see that average hourly earnings is less than the forecast, and unemployment rate also dropped, while non-farm employment change had a dramatic bounce. And that completely asymmetrical data, what I think the trader got confused, and that confusion might lead DXY to drop further. Because if we look at the technical perspective, we can see that this market is still trending aggressively in all time frame. So what I think that this week we might see a bit more dump on DXY. And with the dump, let's see what kind of opportunity we have in the upcoming week. So let's begin first of all a higher time frame to see overall picture in the market. I'm looking at first of all monthly chart to see clear direction in the market, as higher time frame will give you clear direction, removing all the noise from the lower time frame. Now looking at the monthly chart, we can see that this is the monthly candle. In the first 10 days, that's the first week of the month, DXY has shown a very strong bearish price action. This is the monthly candle that has broken this monthly support level. As it has had a drop, what I think that with the drop over the long term, we might see the DXY coming back to this support level, as this is a resistance and the price was respecting this level for a long time. If we look at here, we can see this resistance, and now we could see that the price ultimately dropping down to this support level to grab the further liquidity or retest this support. So we can expect DXY to remain downside. Now if we look at the weekly chart on DXY, we see that weekly perspective, after previous weekly doji here, this week the market had a huge drop with the NFP with a long wick at the bottom. Now this long week, as you can see, the price already had a big drop, and this week is a pullback of this move. That means that a drop, a significant pullback. We can expect another drop on DXY, and I think that this week we might see the price will try to retest this weekly doji which is a high liquidity zone. Now looking at the daily chart to see overall picture, we can see that from the daily the price action is a bit more clearer. There is a liquidity gap you can see in that zone. This liquidity gap is quite significant as the market has tried to break to the upside. Instead it has completely rejected with a complete U-turn from this bullish to the bearish, and the price has crossed. Now you can see the 10 and 20 EMA crossed over from each other. There is a strong impulse followed by a doji here from the daily, where this daily doji is quite significant as the market is still maintaining a strong downtrend. Now if we look at these red candles, what do we see? That the price is forming long bearish candle with a very narrow response from the buyers, signaling potential further drop on DXY. Now if we look at the intraday time frame, we can see that the price is currently respecting this resistance level. Going back to the daily to see, there is a doji, and what I think that this week we might see that initially breaking this daily doji's high, as we see that there is a strong selling pressure. Any break of this high from the daily, we could see further selling opportunity on DXY, as this is a support level, a significant support. Any break to the upside can give potential for further downside on DXY. And from the intraday time frame, we can see that this is a high liquidity zone, and I think that in the beginning of the week we might see DXY is bouncing to the upside from this level, and that overextension break of this daily high can give us potential selling opportunity again on DXY, and that could be the way for this week. Initial bounce and then dropping down to this support level again, and that could be our opportunity on all the USD pair based on this wave. So initial bounce on DXY and then rejecting to the downside again. With that being said, let's now look at all the USD pair based on this DXY, looking at the euro dollar. Now looking at euro dollar again, we will be looking at the monthly chart to see overall direction in the market. Now from the monthly, we can see that there was a monthly impulse on euro dollar, and we saw 2 months of bearish move followed by previous months a doji. Now this monthly doji represents that the buyers are stronger, as we see that in comparison with the sellers, buyers are stronger in this market. Now this month so far, once the market opened, we have seen that initial bounce and the price now coming down for a pullback. Now that pullback might extend a bit more downside before the monthly close, so you could see bounce back to the upside. Now let's look at the weekly chart on euro dollar. We can see that after this weekly bullish candle followed by a doji. Now this weekly candle is a very strong bullish momentum. As you can see, there is a wickless candle, and this week also having a long wick at the top, which is a sign that an impulse and correction, and we can expect another impulse, and that impulse might take euro dollar to this weekly resistance where there is a weekly doji. Now looking at the daily chart on euro dollar, we can see that from the daily time frame, this is the daily impulse to the upside. Last day of trading week, we saw a pullback candle, which is the red candle, and I think that with the market open, we might see that initially break of this daily low, and that could give us another bounce to the upside on euro dollar. So we'll be waiting for break of structure on the lower time frame. If we look at the intraday on euro dollar, we can see that the market now coming down for a deeper pullback, and this is where I will be waiting for euro dollar to break this low and then to give us another entry opportunity for this potential uptrending movement on euro dollar. Now let's look at AUD USD. Looking at the monthly chart on AUD USD, we can see that from the monthly there is a back-to-back 2 months of bearish move after this strong impulse followed by a pullback. Now we can see that AUD USD trying to bounce back to the upside again, as it is a long-term bull market. Now if we look at the weekly chart, we can see that from the weekly perspective, there was a weekly drop followed by there is a weekly doji, which is a liquidity candle, and we can see that after that there is a weekly narrower red candle. And this week we saw after break of this low, the market has got a huge bounce with a very strong bullish engulfer. That could be a continuation pattern to the upside, as we can see that this market is showing significant bullish momentum. Now if we look at the daily chart on AUD/USD, we can see that there is a daily impulse followed by last day of trading week a doji. Now this doji quite significant, as back to back 3 days of impulse followed by a long week candle. That rejection might break this price to the downside, and that might give us another entry opportunity for another bounce to the upside on AUD/USD. As we can see, a bullish impulse followed by a correction, and we will be waiting for another impulse to the upside on AUD/USD. Now looking at the lower time frame, we can see that on AUD/USD, this is the a move followed by a narrow correction, another move followed by a pullback, and that pullback we will be waiting for extend further, and that might bring this price to this liquidity zone where there is a 4-hour 20 EMA along with this support level. We will be waiting for a confirmation for this potential bullish move to the upside for this trend continuation on AUD/USD. As soon as we will find suitable entry, we will be looking for going long on AUD/USD with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at GBPUSD. Again, looking at the monthly chart, we can see that from the monthly GBPUSD also showing a very strong bullish market structure. There is a monthly impulse followed by back-to-back 2 months narrower candle, which is a sign of very strong bullish momentum and weaker bearish price action. This is the monthly candle. Or we can see that from this monthly perspective, with this monthly candle, we will be waiting for the price to drop down for a deeper pullback, and then we can expect for this price to bounce back to the upside. Now looking at the weekly chart on GBPUSD, we can see that from the weekly, this is the weekly impulse, and last day of trading week there was a gap opening, which is the NFP candle. Now this NFP candle is quite strongly bullish, and that might lead this price to go up further, as what is going up is likely to go up. That's the law of trading. Now if we look at the daily chart on GBPUSD, we can see that from the daily time frame, this is the daily impulse, and we will be waiting for a deeper pullback. As we see back to back quite a few days of bullish move, we might see a bit more deeper pullback, and this is the daily low. As the market is maintaining series of higher low, any break of this low can give us potential further bullish entry on GBPUSD. Now this is where you can see that the quite a few back-to-back 2 narrow dodges followed by a liquidity candle. Now with that liquidity candle, the market has got bounced to the upside. Currently the price is forming another bullish market structure. We'll be waiting for this price to drop to this liquidity zone. Any pullback to this liquidity zone, we will be waiting for the price to bounce back to the upside, and as soon as we find suitable entry on GBPUSD, we will be looking for going long with a high probability trade setup. Let's look at the dollar CAD. Let's see what kind of opportunity currently we have in dollar CAD. Now looking at the dollar CAD, we can see that from the monthly perspective on dollar CAD, this is the monthly price action where there is a very strong bearish move followed by a pullback to the upside, and with that pullback, this is the last day of trading week, we can see that from the monthly on dollar CAD, there is a drop followed by a pullback. And what I think that as the market started to drop, we could see that on dollar CAD, ultimately the price might break this monthly low. As what is dropping, we could see further drop on dollar CAD. Now overall picture, it's a bearish market, so downside momentum is high probability on dollar CAD. Now if you look at the weekly chart on dollar CAD, we can see that from the weekly, this is the weekly impulse followed by a bullish pin bar followed by a doji, and with that movement last day of trading week, we can see that from the weekly, a long bearish candle, there is a long wick at the bottom with a healthy body, and we will be waiting for dollar CAD for the price to go up for a pullback and then to drop down again to create a new lower low. Now if we look at the daily chart on dollar CAD, we can see that from the daily, This is the breakup structure on dollar CAD. Last day of trading week, a long daily pullback to the upside, and as this is the resistance level on the daily, I will be waiting for dollar CAD to break this high and then grab that liquidity and then to drop down again to create a new lower low on dollar CAD. Now looking at the intraday perspective on dollar CAD, we can see that from the lower time frame, this is trending very nicely, starting with this impulse followed by a very narrow correction. There has been another impulse, and we can see that the price has gone up for another pullback. And I think that last day of trading week, as there was a bounce to the upside with the NFP, we could see that the price will try to break this high here. This is the swing high where there is a high liquidity, and from that liquidity zone we will be looking to sell dollar CAD. As soon as we find suitable entry on dollar CAD, we will be looking to sell with a high probability trade setup after a price action confirmation. Now let's look at gold, and then we will be looking at the yen pairs as well as Nasdaq traders. So make sure that you stick till the end of this weekly forex forecast. Let's look at gold, and as you can see, gold is in a very strong uptrend, which is a very strong, and we could see that the market is remaining bullish. As we see, there is a huge bounce on gold. Let's look at the monthly chart to see first of all where gold is heading. Now from the monthly, we can see that gold has formed a very sharp and a strong bullish market structure. This is the monthly impulse followed by a pullback, and we can see that the market is heading to the upside with another strong momentum. Now if you look at this monthly candle so far in the first 10 days of trading week, we can see the market has got a bounce to the upside, and with that bounce currently the price might come down for a pullback. As this market is heading to the upside, we can expect for the price to remain bullish. Now if we look at the weekly chart, we can see that from the weekly there was a huge impulse from this support level. Last day of trading week, a very long bullish candle that has a very narrow wick at the top, and it is a bullish candle, and what is going up is likely to go up. So we could see that gold after either an initial pullback, or we might see that a gap opening and then continuation to the upside, as it is a long-term bull market. Now looking at the daily chart, we can see that from the daily a bit more unusual bounce to the upside, starting with this daily doji from this 20 EMA. The market didn't look back. Every green candle has got a very strong momentum. Last day of trading week, we saw this is the NFP candle, and that has also long wick at the top, which is also a sign that the market has got again healthy pullback. So the trend is still a very strong. Now if we look at this daily support, and we see that starting from this daily move, the market still didn't break this series of higher low. So any break of this series of higher low, we might see that gold again bouncing back to the upside. Now looking at the intraday perspective here on gold, we can see this is the support on the daily, and there is a doji here along with the 4-hour 20 EMA. And what I think that if gold managed to drop to this level, we could see that again the price is bouncing back to the upside. And last day of trading week, in the last session, we saw a wickless candle, and this is another high liquidity zone. And I think that with the market open, we might see another bounce to grab that liquidity, and we could see that throughout the week or in the beginning, the price again coming down for a pullback. As this market is overextended, we could see a decent pullback, and that could lead this price to bounce back up again, as this is a liquidity zone. As the price moves from liquidity to liquidity, we can expect after gathering this liquidity, gold to drop back here and then to continue to the upside for bigger move. Now if we look at the 1-hour chart and lower time frame, we can see slowly the price again pushing to the upside, and this is where I will be waiting for initial liquidity grab. If we see that gold is showing us suitable selling opportunity from this liquidity zone for this drop, though it is an uptrending market structure, there is a, you can see this is a huge doji with from the 1 hour more than 2 ATR candle, and from this support level we can look for potential bullish trading opportunity, as this is the daily support level. These are the levels throughout the days that I will be waiting to trade in the upcoming week, and also I'll keep you updated during the week, during the live session and with analysis. Traders, make sure that you stick to the channel by giving a thumbs up and also by subscribing to the channel. And also, in addition to that, if you want to trade all of them with us, you can join today. You can find a link in the description area. So with that being said, let's start JPY pairs to see what kind of trading opportunity we have, starting with GBP JPY. Now looking at GBP JPY, looking at the monthly chart, we can see that from the monthly perspective on GJ, this is the monthly price action where there is a huge bounce on the monthly back-to-back 2 months. Now this month so far, after testing the high of this monthly, GJ has got a rejection to the downside and the price on the support level. At the same time as JPY getting a bit stronger, and we could see further drop as the market has got a rejection, we could see that GJ will try to bounce, will try to retest this monthly support level for long-term perspective. Now if we look at the weekly chart, we can see that back-to-back 2 weeks of narrow red candles, and this candle we can see has got a rejection from this resistance level. And as the market has formed on the lower time frame a clean head and shoulder, and also there is a rejection from the top, we could see GJ will try to drop further, as this is an impulse and the market couldn't create a new higher high. We might see that the GBP JPY will try to drop back to this support level. Now if we look at the daily chart on GBP JPY, we can see that from the daily this market has got back-to-back quite a few days of drop, and at the same time it's leaving a very strong liquidity zone here. This is the daily weakless candle, and I think that this week we might see the price will try to break this high, grab that liquidity, and then we could see that the price again dropping down to this long-term support level. Now from the intraday perspective on GBP JPY, I will be waiting for any kind of liquidity grab from this resistance level. If we look at the 1 hour chart, we can see that there was a structure here. Now this is a complete bearish structure. Now at the same time the price has left a huge liquidity above this daily resistance level. I think that the market might try to break initially to the upside from this level to drop, or we could see that the price leaving that liquidity zone imbalance, and we could see a break from that level, dropping down and then bouncing back to the upside based on the price action confirmation. If we see that GBP JPY has grabbed liquidity initially from this resistance, we will be looking to sell this market with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at dollar yen. Let's see what kind of opportunity we have in this market. Looking at the monthly chart on dollar yen, we can see that from the monthly, after back-to-back 2 months of bullish move, this month we can see that the price couldn't break this monthly high. Instead we have seen a very strong rejection. As it has got a rejection, we could see that the price coming down to this monthly support level to grab liquidity before bouncing to the upside. Now if we look at the weekly chart, we can see that from this narrow doji there is a huge drop on the weekly. Now this weekly candle has got almost equal week both sides, and which is a middleman from this liquidity zone, and that's a reversal pattern here. Therefore we could see that dollar yen dropping down further, and we might see that dollar yen is breaking this low to create a new lower low. Now if we look at the daily chart on dollar yen, we can see that from the daily the market structure is highly bearish at the moment. We saw there was a long consolidation, reversal pattern, a complete breakdown. Now last day of trading week, this candle is a highly bearish candle which has a long wick at the bottom. We will be waiting for dollar yen to bounce back up to retest and then to reject to the downside to create a new lower low. Now if we look at the intraday time frame, we can see that from the lower time frame, the red candles are very stronger in comparison with the green candles, which is a sign that this market is highly bearish. So any break to the upside on dollar yen from this liquidity zone, we will be looking to sell dollar yen with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at Aussie yen. Let's see what kind of opportunity we have in this market. Looking at the monthly chart, like dollar yen, we can see that Aussie yen also showing potential bearish pattern. We have seen that after this long week candle on the monthly, this month the price tested the high, the price again dropping down to create a new lower low. Now if we look at the weekly chart on Aussie yen, we can see that from the weekly perspective, there is a weekly middleman, and we will be waiting for the price to pull back and then to drop down again. As the market started to drop from this resistance, we could see that now Aussie yen coming down to this liquidity zone, and we could see the price action is remaining bearish as it failed to create a higher high. We could see that the price will come back down to create a new lower low. Now if we look at the daily chart, we can see that there is a daily middleman with a huge liquidity grab in it. This daily doji had a no wick at the top, and the market, you can see, crossed that high, form a complete breakdown candle, which is a failed bullish engulfer. Drop back down means that we could see now Aussie yen will try to create a new lower low, and we might see the price is dropping down to create a new lower low. Now if we look at the intraday perspective on Aussie yen, we can see that there is a, from this level, there is a huge drop followed by a pullback. Now this pullback candle on Aussie yen from the intraday is a very narrower in comparison with the red candle. I will be waiting for Aussie yen for the price to break this high, and once we see that Aussie yen has broken this high and grab that liquidity from here or created an overextended market, I will be waiting for potential selling opportunity. As soon as we find suitable entry, we will be looking to sell Aussie yen with a high probability trade setup. Let's look at Nasdaq. Let's see what kind of opportunity currently we have. Now looking at the monthly chart on Nasdaq, we can see that from the monthly perspective, this is the monthly impulse, which is a very strong bullish market structure on Nasdaq, followed by last week we saw that there was continuation to the upside, and at the end we saw again has come down almost to the monthly week opening. And if we look at the weekly chart, we can see that the market is still maintaining that bullish market structure, creating series of higher low, though last week of trading week we saw a rejection from the top. Now what we can expect this week, if we look at the daily, we can see a bit more clearer picture. The market is still maintaining series of higher low as the price is dropping down to this liquidity zone. This is the daily support level here. We saw there was a huge bullish engulfer. Now last day of trading week, as the market has got a rejection, we could see initial drop to grab liquidity from those levels where there is high area of value. And if we look at the intraday time frame, we can see that after this big drop followed by a narrow doji, we can expect for the price to drop further to this level. And if we see that Nasdaq has dropped below this level, grab that liquidity, we will be looking to going long on Nasdaq with a high probability trade setup. Now let's look at US30. Looking at the higher time frame, first of all monthly, we can see that from the monthly perspective on US30, this is the monthly impulse on US30 followed by a monthly narrow candle. Now this monthly candle is a weaker response from the buyers. As you can see, this is a very strongly bull market and weaker response from the sellers. So we could see that the market to remain bullish for long-term perspective. Now if we look at the weekly chart, we saw there is a gap opening followed by a red candle that has a long wick at the bottom from the weekly perspective. And what we can expect this week for the price to go up and then to drop down again to create a new lower low. Now if we look at the daily chart on US30, we can see that from the daily perspective, there is a daily, the overall picture in this market, the trend is the market structure is highly bullish And as you can see, this is where there is a daily doji. We could see further pullback, and this support level is quite significant as there is a doji here. I will be waiting for the price to drop, grab liquidity, and then to bounce back to the upside to the long-term direction of the trend. We will be waiting for US30 to drop down to this support level. As you can see from here, there was an impulse and the market is trying to drop to this level. We could see that the price ultimately breaking that low and then bouncing back to the upside. As it is a long-term bull market, we will be looking to trade in the major direction of the trend. I strongly believe that traders, you enjoyed this weekly forex forecast. If you enjoyed, then don't hesitate to like and also subscribe to the channel for more content like that. And in addition to that, if you want to join us to trade all those instruments that we are trading every single day, along with learning the strategy that I am trading, you can join today. Link below this video in the description area. With that being said, thank you very much, and I'll see you soon trading live together. Until that, stay well, stay happy.